Imagine a big tech company so infamous that its own shareholders are telling it to confess how much it has censored America for the Biden regime. You don't have to think too hard. It's coming up next on TechShark. Welcome to TechShark, bite-sized news for conservatives surfing the net. It's a new year. We got lots of exciting content coming your way, and movers and shakers are putting the screws to big tech. So for those who need to be caught up, Alphabet is the parent company for both Google and YouTube. The National Legal and Policy Center, or NLPC, is both an ethics watchdog and a shareholder for Alphabet that reportedly called on Google to cough up its records of banning content on behalf of the Biden administration. As the so-called science and policies and censorship rules have flip-flopped throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, more and more Americans have expressed concern about how major platforms have censored speech that turned out to be true. The Washington Free Beacon reported that the NLPC submitted the shareholder proposal to the company this week following a string of controversies over Google and YouTube's removal of videos that question the Biden administration's COVID-19 policies. The Free Beacon reportedly obtained a copy of a shareholder proposal and recounted how the White House said it was in regular touch with social media platforms to discuss ways to combat misinformation online. If the proposal passes, Alphabet and its branch companies such as Google and YouTube would have to turn over specified and perhaps politically damning information, including an itemized listing of such takedown requests, including the name and title of the official making the request, the nature and scope of the request, the date of the request, the outcome of the request, and a reason or rationale for the company's response or lack thereof. One critical aspect the Free Beacon made clear is that proven coordination between the Biden administration and Alphabet to censor could be no less than a constitutional crisis. The NLPC said coordination between Alphabet and the Biden administration could amount to unconstitutional censorship, opening the company to liability claims by victims, citing Supreme Court rulings that private entities may not engage in suppression of speech at the behest of government. In short, big tech is infamous for a complete lack of meaningful transparency, and now a shareholder appears to be forcing it to show us what's been going on. Now here's the shark bite. Big tech isn't afraid of you leaving platforms. What actually does keep CEOs up at night is the thought of powerful people and organizations putting their feet to the fire. Is this going to pass? Probably not. But it's powerful people thinking in the right direction. Because if companies tend to respond to anything in the age of social media, it's public embarrassment, particularly when investors are involved. The problem so far has been that big tech censorship has kind of been like illegal immigration. Even the powerful people who believe it happens often don't care, or they don't see it as an existential threat. If border crossings turn red states blue, and they are, that's a permanent loss for the nation. If we lose our ability to recruit the next generation of conservatives by having access to platforms, that's a permanent loss for the nation. A country can recover from a bad economic or healthcare policy or two, but you can't come back from being fundamentally transformed into another country altogether. We have seen a lack of action because the powers that be haven't taken the problem seriously. This call for reform probably won't go through. The news cycle has enough high-stakes stories that are red meat for readers that turn out to be vegan nothing burgers. But I'm sure the first attempts to make any great change tend to have a few flip-flops at the start. And this one humiliates one of the world's biggest companies. The Free Beacon quoted NLPC Chairman Peter Flaherty scorching big tech for overstepping its bounds, especially when controversial information in a developing crisis turns out to be true. The administration keeps labeling certain information about the pandemic disinformation and gets it yanked off social media only to later embrace the same information. Ain't that the truth? The pandemic has led to unprecedented power for the left, but it has also led to an unprecedented lack of confidence in the media and just about every major institution the far left has co-opted. Big tech has been called out for censoring the Wuhan lab leak origin theory about the COVID-19 pandemic that went from banned conspiracy to probable explanation in a matter of months. While disgraced fact-checkers lately have been facing a mounting crisis of credibility. Now I want you to think about this. NLPC is a shareholder in Alphabet, which owns Google and YouTube. They aren't protesting from the outside or making a declaration the company won't care about or sending an angry letter. They are pushing for reform and accountability from within, with a whole lot of money attached as a shareholder. And that scares, or at least humiliates, all the right people. You've been watching TechShark, brought to you by Free Speech America and the Media Research Center. Have a good week.